Hello everybody, hope you're all well, keeping safe and staying active during this difficult time. I'm joined today by Tees Active's Learn to Swim Ambassador and Commonwealth Gold Medalist, Aimee Willmott. Hi Aimee, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks, and how are you?
I'm good, thanks, I'm good. Trying to keep active, proving difficult. My 5k time's coming down slowly but surely. But,
That's good.
doing my best. Whereabouts are you today? Are you home at North East or are you up in Scotland?
I'm still in Scotland at the moment, in Stirling. When they kind of put the lockdown restrictions in place, I was up here and kind of training until the final day. So, I've stayed kind of in and around the area for sort of really when the chance to get back in, I'm kind of in and nearer to the training venue.
Excellent, good stuff. So, firstly, how can I ask, how are you coping with lockdown? As a professional athlete, it must be a really difficult time for you.
Yeah, it has been. I think probably we're kind of in a similar position to sort of everybody really. Those that are quite active and lead a sort of healthy lifestyle, it's difficult to go from doing day in, day out your usual fitness routine and then to all of a sudden kind of have nothing and it's all been taken away. So yeah, we were up in the pool until kind of Sunday when Boris said, right, that's it. So it was quite a hard thing to adjust to, and all of a sudden wake up and think, right, well, what have I got to do today? I can't go out. There's no training on. I don't know when the pool will be back open. And there was then at that time certainty of what was to come. But now there's kind of a lot of benchmarks that have been moved and put in place. It's becoming a little bit easier, and I think the routine, you just kind of getting used to it, even though it's not ideal.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very difficult time for everybody. How are you managing to keep active though at the moment?
I'm doing quite a lot of HIIT sessions kind of at home. Tuesdays and Thursdays we join up as a group across Scotland with the rest of the elite athletes and kind of do that in front of the TV on a Zoom call. So that's kind of getting me out of bed and getting me into doing something, kind of like a lot of people are doing online fitness classes. So that's been giving me a kind of a little bit of purpose and making me get up and do some exercise those 2 days. And then around that, I'm still trying to do a home kind of gym program, whether that's squatting with a rucksack full of books, or I had some really small dumbbells that I've kind of been using and adding a little bit of weight to them as and when I can. So it's been challenging, but I think I've hopefully managed to keep up a little bit of the strength training and fitness so that I'm in a good place when I get back to the pool. I'm not sort of, as you say, out of shape and unhealthy really.
No, sounds good. You mentioned there about the digital evolution and how everybody's adapted to the video calls and things. I've noticed you've put some your own fitness workouts out online for your swim skills.
Yeah, I kind of wanted a little bit of a purpose really, and to do something. I've been kind of running my Willmott Swim Skills business for a while now, and I thought, well, how can I kind of try and engage people and swimmers that have lost that routine. So every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, I'm kind of getting up and getting out of bed and joining an Instagram live workout with sort of the same regulars which have been joining in. So it's been coming quite nice. And how's your week been? And what have you been up to? And just like a little bit of a chat as well as kind of the session. So I've really enjoyed that. And it's just been nice to kind of tap in with a couple of other swimmers on a Wednesday, sort of all ages and all fitness levels that I seem to be kind of enjoying a workout with. And sometimes I end up thinking this is probably a little bit too hard for me today after what I've been doing, but it makes me get through it, and it's quite good.
Excellent. What sort of advice would you give to our young swimmers at the moment?
I think the piece of advice I would give is not to kind of worry about when you're going to get back in, especially as a young swimmer. You'll pick up fitness quite quickly, even though you've had, say, 8 to 10, possibly even 12 weeks by the time things start to pick up again and we get back in the pool. You'll find that within sort of 4 or 5 weeks, you'll pick up fitness quite quick and you might almost be back to where you were at before. So not necessarily to worry about when you could get back in, because you won't really struggle if you've kept fit and healthy and you've not kind of eaten every single biscuit out the biscuit tin and you've just sat on the sofa for 8 weeks. If you've stayed fit and healthy, I think by the time you get back in the pool, it won't be as difficult as you think it will.
No, that's great. Yeah, you're right there. It's very difficult at times to stay active and eat healthy. The temptation's there, and sometimes you have to be strong-willed, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think I spoke to a few people that have said, I've just kind of lost all routine, and I find myself when I go to the supermarket, there's all this kind of the sweet aisle, the chocolates, the biscuits, and I think, right, I'm going to maybe buy myself 4 ice creams that they'll last me and my partner a week, and then I buy like 1 or 2 packs of biscuits, and I'm trying not to buy sort of chocolate bars and sweets and crisps and all that sort of stuff. And because we're only kind of going to the shop once a week, there's not then the choice to just nip to the local co-op for a bag of chocolate because it's not necessarily an essential trip. So I'm finding that sort of stuff's helping me stay in routine because it's not there at sort of arm's length to just pick up and snack on. So I'm trying to do a healthy shop to then make sure that I've not got access to the junk food in the house, really.
That's good. Just obviously in terms of the sporting calendar, a number of sporting events have been cancelled or postponed, including the rescheduling of this year's Olympics. What impact has this had on you both mentally and physically?
It was really difficult at first. I this year thought that potentially the Olympics would have been my final competition, and I was coming towards the end of my retirement, and all of a sudden to have no training, no trials, no Olympics, it kind of left me with a little bit of like a hole in that. So I've sort of committed to getting back in whenever we can, and obviously now the Olympics has been moved, it's just another 12 months to not hang on for, but prepare a lot longer than I thought I had to prepare for. I was swimming really well. Literally the week before lockdown, we had a competition, and I wasn't far off the automatic Olympic qualification time for GB. So it was a little bit annoying and gutting to just be so close and think I'm actually swimming quite well at the moment. And I've not really been in this good a shape for a couple of years. What could the trials give? And to then all of a sudden nothing beyond it was kind of like, oh, it's just so frustrating. So at first it was obviously quite a big struggle, and I think now we know that everything's been delayed. Obviously the rush to get back in isn't as big a deal as it would have been if the Olympics were still going on at the end of July. So now we've got more time to plan and prepare, and the whole sort of swimming calendar's just been thrown up in the air, and not just at international level, I guess at British level as well. There are now obviously no national championships, there are no competitions in the plan, in the schedule until this is all resolved. So it could be on after Christmas when sort of club swimmers get back to competing. So it's unnerving because that's the thing that we train to do, is to race and to compete. And I think we've just got to remember that even though we can't necessarily compete, there's still a lot we can gain from training to help us accelerate when we can. And I think that's kind of where I'm at mentally, and sort of the group that I train with up in Stirling, we're just trying to prepare as best we can and make sure we're improving and either getting stronger, or when we get back in, really honing in on technique. And then as things start to pick up and build, then we can worry about, right, well, when are we going to race and how are we going to do that? But I think there's a lot of improvements to be made when you necessarily don't have a target that's right there in front of you, and you've got time to kind of focus and reset and rethink. And I think this period's given a lot of swimmers, if they've kind of utilised it sort of professionally and to their advantage, giving them a time to think, actually, what do I like about swimming? What do I need to improve? And where can I then sort of make improvements now that I wouldn't necessarily have 10 weeks at home where you can exercise and work on your shoulder rehab and strength all day, every day, because you've got nothing else to do. And having that time is hopefully going to help a lot of swimmers accelerate and improve when we can get back in.
Yeah, no, that's it. I think you touched on it great there. I think times like this, it's important to have that time of reflection, isn't it? You know, and reset your goals and ambitions, and in some respect, is the time out of the pool can also re-energize, can't it, and re-motivate.
Yeah, 100%. I'm kind of have a little bit of comfort in knowing that, not in a similar way, but I had obviously an accident just before the year before the Commonwealth, and I had 3 months forced rest out of the pool. So I then went on 9 months later to win Commonwealth gold. So for me, it's a little bit reassuring that, well, I know that if I put everything into it when I can get back in, I'm obviously in a better position now. I'm not injured. I'm still staying fit. That there is still hope, and it's not the end of the world. And I think a lot of athletes, because they've not experienced it, don't really understand that you will pick up fitness. And if you want to improve enough and you want to get back in, you will put the effort and the hours in to get back to the level of performance that you were at.
That's good. Obviously, it's been quiet time in terms of your training in terms in the pool. Well, I understand you've had some good news recently. You've been appointed the athletes board on the Commonwealth Games for 2022. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so just even before lockdown, I had the opportunity to apply for the job, and I thought next year potentially there'll be kind of a little bit of space in the calendar, not necessarily knowing where I was going to go in terms of life after swimming. So I thought this would be a great kind of opportunity for me to start and develop some of that. And I've been appointed on the board of directors as an athlete representative for Commonwealth Games England. So it's a 4-year position, and obviously the Birmingham Commonwealth Games fall in the middle of that, and then it'll be working on developing towards the next games. And it's really kind of I wanted to be involved in that to kind of give my opinion on an athlete's perspective. Obviously, you don't always understand the difficulties that organisations face when you're an athlete, and you just think, oh, I want to go to the Commonwealth Games, but you don't really understand how much it costs and some of the travel implications and just the organisation and logistics of that. And I kind of wanted to be involved in that for me to personally learn and appreciate throughout my career what people have done for me on the organisation side of sport, but also to kind of help the next generation of athletes and give the board and the organisation some advice on making the transition from whether it's junior to senior at Commonwealth Games or it's their last competition at Commonwealth, just to give the athletes the best chance of performing at their best. And if we can do that and I can help that, then if we can have a successful Birmingham 2022, then hopefully I've helped in some way, shape or form. And that's kind of where I really enjoy the helping and inspiring side. And if I can be a part of the logistics as well, then it'll be great, hopefully.
Yeah, no, it sounds really, really exciting. It's a great opportunity to put something back into the sport and learn from the lessons that you've learned on your journey as well, which is great. Okay, well, fast forward. We've been given the green light. The swimming pools are back open. What sort of advice would you give to our swimmers once the pools are allowed to be back open?
Definitely get back in. I think if you were a keen swimmer, even if you weren't necessarily a swimmer, you're not going to have the chance to go on holiday this year and hang by the pool. So get down to the local leisure centres. Get back in the pool. Obviously, it's a life skill. If you're necessarily a younger swimmer, you don't want to lose that ability and that skill. So as soon as you can get back into the pool. And it's not only just great for sort of fitness, but it is nice to go with your family, have a bit of a splash, enjoy a different environment, and just be involved in sort of the swimming community. So hopefully when we can all get back in, this will be a really nice and enjoyable time. And I'm sure there'll be lots of activities going on that you can all get involved in. So definitely get back down to the local baths. Enjoy your swimming, and you never know, you might enjoy it so much this time that you become sort of a club swimmer and then you progress all the way through.
That's great. Well, it's been great talking to you today, Aimee. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Before we go, I was just wondering if you had one last message for our Tees Active swimmers, in particularly the Learn to Swimmers who are on the scheme.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a huge good luck when you get back in. Obviously, you might have lost a little bit of feel for the water, but that's totally normal. Enjoy your lessons, and all the club swimmers at the Tees Active centres as well. Obviously, you might dive in on day one and feel like you're going to sink, but you will get better and you will improve. And hopefully I'll see you all back down at the baths and your local pools when this is all over.
That's a fantastic message, Aimee. Great way to end today's call. On behalf of Tees Active and all our swimmers, thank you for joining me today. Best of luck for the future. Stay safe, which is most important. And hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks, Aimee.